Hi, today's topic is abnormal fertilization. So, to understand abnormal fertilization, we need to understand normal fertilization first. So, normal fertilization occurs when a mature oocyte is fertilized by a single sperm, resulting in formation of two pronuclei and two polar body. This indicates the correct combination of maternal and paternal genetic material, which is essential for proper embryo development. Now we'll talk about abnormal fertilization. So see, this is from ASRM. So first we'll see the abnormal fertilization with two polar body. Okay, that means two polar body has been extruded. First is two polar body but zero pronuclei. Second is two polar body but one pronuclei. We cannot write two because if two polar body and two pronuclei will write, that means normal fertilization, but we are talking about abnormal fertilization. So we'll write 3 pronuclei and greater than 3 pronuclei. So with 0 pronuclei and 2 polar body, how is it possible? Either the fertilization is very slow or the fertilization is very fast, so that syngamy has occurred, so we cannot see the pronuclei, or the fertilization is very slow, so we are not able to see the pronuclei, or parthogenic activation means egg has activated on its own. Okay, these three causes are for two polar body with 0 pronuclei. Okay, now we'll talk about two polar body with 1 pronuclei. So either asynchrony during pronuclear formation, or there is parthogenic activation, or there is abnormal syngamy. Syngamy means they have joined abnormally, so there is abnormal syngamy. Asynchrony means what I think is, it means one is so small that we cannot see that, and one is very big, so this we can remember it, that asynchrony is the cause. Second is parthonic activation. First with 0 also it was parthonic activation, and with 1 pronuclei also parthonic activation. There are 3 pronuclei. What does that means? 2 polar body and 3 pronuclei. That means dispermy, means egg is having its own pronuclei, but how 3? Because 2 sperms had fertilized this egg. Okay, and greater than 3, either polyspermy or nuclear fragmentation. So basically we'll remember it by these diagrams. Again we are revising. If there are two polar body and 0 pronuclei, either very slow fertilization or parthogenic activation, or very fast fertilization. If there is 1 pronuclei and 2 polar body, either asynchronous development or parthogenic activation, or syngamy of the pronuclei. Then 2pn will be normal. 3pn is oocyte is fertilized with dispermy, and more than 3pm means oocyte is fertilized with polyspermy, or nuclear fragmentation is there. Nuclear fragmentation we are right now talking about. So you remember these diagrams. Syngamy, how will make syngamy? Like this. this is about two polar body. Now we'll talk about when there is one polar body. Previously we talked about when there was two polar body. So if there is one polar body and zero pronuclei, that means no activation. There was no activation of the oocyte. Okay, because after LH search, meiosis 1 resumption occur. By that, one polar body is extruded. Okay, that means because of LH search, this first polar body is extruded. But after fertilization, the meiosis 2 get resumed and second polar body is extruded. But if there is only one polar body, that means meiosis 2 has not completed. Okay, now one polar body and one PN. If there is only one pronuclei, then it means parthogenic activation. If there is two pronuclei, that means abnormal fertilization and without the extrusion of the second polar body. There was no extrusion of the second polar body. That's why there is only one polar body. There was only one polar body because there is second polar body has not extruded. Now 3PN means this is also due to the failure of extrusion of the second polar body. Now what is difference between these two? We'll talk about difference between these two, this one and this one. See, one polar body and two pronuclei. What happens is, remember with the mnemonic, there was a rule that couple will have two babies and those babies will live outside in the hostel. Okay, so these couples these couples only have one baby. They haven't produced the second baby. Okay, so that's why only one baby is outside and these couple lives here. Means one polar body and two PN. What does this mean is, the fertilized egg failed to extrude the second polar body, meaning that the maternal chromosome remain inside the oocyte. This led to abnormal chromosome retention, which may affect embryo development, and this is more commonly observed in ICSI. This can lead to chromosomal abnormality and reduce implantation rate. Now we'll talk about 3 pronuclei and one polar body. In this couple has produced 2 children. First children they have sent it to the hostel. Second children they have not sent to the hostel. In that, second children was not produced only in this. But in this they have produced second children, but they haven't sent them to the hostel. That means it will be digyny. Digyny means they have triploidy. They have 2 maternal pronuclei plus 1 paternal pronucleus instead of 1 from each parent. It occurs because the egg failed to extrude the second polar body, causing it to retain an extra set of maternal chromosome. That means 69 chromosome. It will have 69 chromosome and 1 polar body. So basically this will have 2 sets of maternal DNA. It is more common in ICSI. What are the consequences of digyny? This triploid embryo with 3 sets of chromosome generally do not develop properly. Okay, so this will lead to implantation failure or early miscarriage.